Hey students, this is lesson 1.5. We're going to learn how to find sums and differences of real numbers. Actually, I think you already know how to do this. It's just a quick review. So go ahead and do this review and you can check back with your answers. Important definition here. Make sure you take note of that. And that is the absolute value of number is its distant zero on a number line. The absolute value of -7 is written like this, and it's actually equal to 7 because -7 is 7 units from zero on a number line. Now remember, there's actually two numbers that are 7 units from zero on a number line, -7 and 7. So kind of keep that in mind. Go ahead and try these. See if you understand that definition. You could check back. All right, we're going to use number lines to just get an idea of how you add integers, positive and negative numbers. So we can represent any number on a number line with an arrow starting at 0. So if we're going to do, and I'm going to change this to a -4. You can change that in your packet. If I'm going to represent -4, I'll just start at 0 and make a full an arrow 4 units to the left. And then from there, I want to add 7. That's going to be 7 is a arrow 7 units long to the right. And I'm going to end up right here at 3. So the sum -4 plus 7 is equal to 3. 4 plus -7, that my first arrow this time would be an arrow to the right. 4 units long. That takes me to the number 4. And then adding a negative number is going to be a left arrow 7 units long. And that's going to take me to -3. And then the last one, -4 plus 7. We already did that one, so I'm going to change that problem to something else. I'm going to do -7 plus 4. So my first arrow will be 7 units to the left starting at 0. And that'll take me to -7. And then adding 4 will take me 4 units to the right, and it'll end up at -3. All right, so I'll let you try that. Check back with your answers. Here's a concept we're going to use when we're adding real numbers. To add two numbers of the same side, add their absolute values. So just kind of ignore the sign and add the two numbers up. The sum has the same sign as the adding. So if both numbers you're adding are negative, then the sum is negative. If both numbers are positive, then the sum is positive. To add two numbers with different signs, you're going to actually subtract the numbers ignoring their sign. So subtract their absolute values. The sum has the same sign as the add-in with the greater absolute value. So once you get rid of the sign, whichever number is greater, you want the sign of that original number. So what we're talking about here is this. These two signs are opposite. When that happens, we're just going to subtract them. We're going to do 14 minus 9, which is 5. So, and then we're just going to take the sign of whichever number has a bigger absolute value. So the number that's greatest from 0, which is this one. So our answer is -5. On the second one, we have two negatives. When both signs are the same, let's just add those up. 15 plus 4, ignoring the sign, and that's 19. And then if we're adding two negatives, our answer is negative. If we're adding two positives, our answer is positive. The last one, the signs are different. When the signs are different, just subtract them. And that's 7.2. And then take the sign of the number with the largest absolute value, which means the sign of the number furthest from 0, which is this one. So my answer is positive 7.2. All right, you try that. All right, subtract real numbers. We're going to use the definition of subtraction, which says to subtract a real number, add its opposite. And just so you guys remember that, let's call that the definition of subtraction. Subtraction is adding the opposite. So, negative 7 minus 2, we can do by doing negative 7 plus negative 2. So, change it to addition and then change this sign from 2 to negative 2. And that equals negative 9 because we just want to add the two numbers up, ignoring the sign. 7 plus 2 is 9. And then we take the sign of the two numbers. On the second one here, we're going to add the opposite. So we're going to change this to plus. And the opposite of negative 2.1 is positive 2.1. So we can just add those two up. 8 and 2 is 10, and 0.2 and 0.1 is 0.3. All right, so let's go ahead and apply that. Instead of subtracting negative 12, we are going to add positive 12. Now we're adding them. The signs are different, so we're just going to subtract 12 minus 6, which is 6. And then we're going to take the sign of the number with the greatest absolute value, which is the number furthest from 0, which is 12, so it's positive 6. All right, let's change this one to 2.1 plus. Instead of positive 9.6, we're going to make it negative 9.6. Again, the signs are different, so let's subtract them. 9.6 minus 2.1 is 7.5. Take the sign of the number with the greatest absolute value, which is this one, and that means our answer is negative 7.5. Change this to adding a negative. So instead of subtracting positive 5, we're going to add negative 5. And when you add opposites, you get 0. All right, I'm going to try that. Okay, applying some of this here, we're going to do a little problem. Reef Explorer dives 20 feet to photograph brain coral and then rises 7 feet to travel over a ridge before diving 31 feet to survey the base of the reef. Then the diver rises 18 feet to see an underwater cavern. What is the location of the cavern in relation to sea level? Let's represent all these numbers as either positive or negative, depending on what's going on. Diving 20 feet from the surface, we could start by putting a negative 20 to that. Then the diver rises 7 feet, so let's put plus positive 7 there. Then the dive travels over a ridge before diving 31 feet. That would be a negative. And or we could just put a minus there. Diving is a minus, that works too. Minus 31 plus 18. And if I change these all to addition, then one way I could easily get the answer is just add all the negatives together, combine those. So 20 and 31 make 51. Those are my negatives. And then I combine my positives. 7 plus 18 is 25. So plus 25. And then to figure that out, we have a negative and a positive, so we want to subtract the two numbers. And that gives me 26. And since negative 51 is further from 0 than 25, my answer is negative 26. All right, you try it. All right, and the last thing you're going to want to do is just do this lesson check. We'll start the class tomorrow by sharing your answer with your partners, see how you did. Go ahead and read it and figure it out, and I'll see you tomorrow.